Just double checking, making sure everything looks good. But everything looks good. Okay, yo, peoples. Kyushu92 here. Here to bring you yet another reaction to My Hero Academia. Boy, what a last chapter 297 was. All for One breaks out of prison and he breaks out a whole bunch of other people. Chisaki's free. Muscular's free. We still don't know whether Kurogiri or Stain is out of their cells yet. But from the way All for One is moving, yeah. Especially since anyone who could even put up even remotely a bit of a fight towards his, escape, all of them are incapacitated. So now let's go ahead and find out what happens in My Hero Academia chapter 298. Let's go ahead and get this started. I had the page up here and then it just disappeared. Here we go. And it says next chapter in 7 days, so we're not going on break after this chapter. Let's check this out. All right, 298, Sounds of Collapse. It was our money that paid for that fish, yeah? As well as your medical treatments, the video doctoring, and Toga's new coat. And then we have like a flashback to, the Para-Liberation Front and everyone. We even see Twice, we see Spinner, we see Compress. Pardon me. Yeah? So what? You've got us to thank for your big boss Baldy being here in this hideout, and not zonked out in a hospital bed. While the Jakku hospital raid was happening, the president of Detinorat, that was the face I showed to the world at large. And after relinquishing command of the Metahuman Liberation Army, I took on a new leadership role on the road to the revolution. I've always worn those two faces, and ever since our holy war in Deka City, there have literally been two of me. Wait, why is it talking about, what is going on? Oh, this is Redestro. Oh, it's Redestro speaking. Imagine my delight when you came to me with that joint development proposal. I knew you people at the Safety Commission always had your eye on us, but when, at last, I was led to believe that you couldn't ignore our products anymore. Both my faces were overcome with joy, short-lived though it was. Yo! Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I recognize these faces. Yo, did Redestro break into the Hero Association's main building? Because I see a lot of people who are dead now, but this is a flashback. Did he break into their building way back when? Before the whole incident with Shigaraki and All for One and everyone? This is a flashback before then. This is a turn I didn't expect the story to go in. Both my faces were overcome with joy, short-lived though it was. But to come at us now with such fire and brimstone, well, isn't this the system you've built up, your law and your order? Hey, Kitty Bree, hey, Cody. Yes, I suppose it was necessary. But we seek order without order, true freedom, through liberation. And I'm pretty sure that this was a clone made by Twice because it just starts to melt away. That is not how Redestro's quirk works. So this has got to be a clone made by Twice, back when he was alive. The seeds are already sown. And now we cut back to Tartarus. 6 hours after the attack on Tartarus, 3:06 a.m., Cheyenne Prison. And there's an explosion. And we see Nomu, and we see other quirk users breaking out. Wow. They're not messing around. 3:55, Bagu Prison. And those are being broken into. 4:30, Queen Prison. And that's being broken into. We got numerous helicopters flying over the ocean right now, but they have All for One on them. All for One has left Tartarus. All for One has officially left Tartarus. He's in a helicopter now, or a tilt rotor, depending on how you look at it. Through use of emergency aircraft that require an unofficial biometric ID to operate, the escaped prisoners from Tartarus and the near Hyans proceeded to attack 7 other prisons, freeing additional convicts from 6 of them. Wow. So Tartarus wasn't the only one. They went to multiple prisons within hours of each other. Cheyenne prison, Bagu prison, Queen prison, breaking out numerous quirk users. And who knows how many murderers are among them who actually use their quirks to, hurt people. He just went to all of these different prisons and just started breaking people out. This is the single biggest prison break in quirk-related history, I gotta say. And All for One is just going to all of them and breaking everyone out. And then we have everyone's back in the forest at 5:04 a.m. There, the groundwork is laid. What a thrilling day we've had. The sudden rash of violent escapees should hamper the authorities pursuing me. And now, would you good people be so kind as to stand guard while this body rests? Rax, what's going on? We're just mulling over the fact that All for One didn't just break out of Tartarus. He's gone to numerous other prisons and broken out even more people. This is like Blackbeard breaking people out from Impel Down. And now, would you good people be so kind as to stand guard while this body rests? We've got along more than I thought, bonded over gaming and stuff. Who are you? And this is Spinner speaking. You're not the guy I agreed to follow. Have no fear. I hold the greatest respect for Tomura's will. This body simply needs time to rest and be perfected. But once it is, our desires will come to fruition. And Spinner knows that this isn't Shigaraki, because the way that Shigaraki's speaking, I honestly feel like it is Shigaraki's voice, but it is All for One speaking through him. It is not something that Shigaraki would say. That's why Spinner's being a little bit put off from this. And going to the next page, 2 days later. Hey, it's Bakugo! And he's in a hospital bed with an oxygen mask on. And he immediately sits up, and he tries to. Hey man, glad to get another read-along. You make these chapters better. Well, thank you, Rax. That's my goal when it comes to doing these reactions. As long as it keeps you guys entertained, I know I'm doing something right. But Bakugo is laying down in his bed, and he wakes up, and he tries to lean up, but he's, hurt, because he got skewered a little bit. And then we got Mineta, we got Sato. Well, we got Seto and Sato. And then we got, Hakagure. And Mineta says, he's awake! Shut up! Where the heck am I? Hooray! That's the short fuse freak we know. Don't just brush me off like that. This is Central Hospital, the best place for state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line medical care. But thank goodness, for real! We heard you took one nasty beating, that you were, stabbed in the guts. I'll tell the nurse he's up. What about Deku and Todoroki? I'm so glad you're alive, even if you are a punk! And then Bakugo is just grabbing his face because he's concerned about everyone. The fact that he's concerned about Midoriya, what about Deku and Todoroki? And Sensu and Sensei? Or Sensei? Endeavor? What's going on? And no one's saying anything to him. Everyone's silent. Then it cuts to Gran Torino. He's on life support, okay? So he's not dead, but he is on life support. His foot is broke. His whole body's just broken, and he's got a massive bandage where Shigaraki just literally fist impaled him through the stomach. And then we have the scarf of Aizawa-sensei, Shimura. Both you and Gran Torino would have been much worse off if you've gotten attention any later, says one of the doctors. And we got Present Mike here, who has his hair actually put down and in a little bit of a bun ponytail. It's the first time I've never seen his hair spiked up like it usually is. You can thank Rocklock and the others for making your lives top priority. Even Kayama. Why? And this is Present Mike speaking. Even Kayama. Why? Enough, Yamada. I just want to know, how are the kids? Even with Aizawa missing a leg, he's still concerned about his students. And then we have Shoto sitting up in his bed, just covered in bandages. He's literally covered in bandages. Even his face is covered. But the only thing that made it through is his hair. And everyone's outside. Lots of news crews. People are crowded. And they're looking up to the hospital because they know what happened. And then we got Kirishima. Don't let it get you. Don't let it get to you, dude.
It'll be all right. We saw it, Todoroki. We know about the situation.
Like, Ashido and Yaoyorozu are there. They know about the little thing that Toya tried to make it seem like what was going on with Endeavor and his life and how he tried to groom his kids in order to be the next symbol of peace to surpass All Might. They know about that, but they frankly, right now, they don't really care.
It'll be okay.
And then there's a lot of people, a lot of news reporters trying to get information about what was going on. Are you affiliated with Endeavor? What's his status? You must know, right? And is Endeavor even aware of the terrible state Japan's in right now? Everyone's dying to know about his connection with Dabi. When can we expect a press conference? We need some reassurance. We need to know. No, you don't need to know. Y'all being nosy. That's why people don't like paparazzi now. But it shows the face of Endeavor, who's just still unconscious. And he's massively hurt. He's got more scars on him than he did when he faced off against the first Haya Nomu. That one is the root cause. His shining light beckons the dark. It precipitates our demise. And he's thinking Endeavor's and Todoroki's thinking back to when they were training under Endeavor, and they had to catch this one guy on a flying magic carpet who was, causing trouble way back when. And he's looking at it, and it's just a flashback of how Endeavor was just walking away from him. Then, this is all just focused on Todoroki right now. His flames are stronger than Dad's. I couldn't win with firepower alone. So strong. Those flames full of hate. And he's been watching us all this time. Todoroki's thinking about his brother, his long-lost, thought-dead brother, and how much hatred is in his powers now. That's why it's so devastating. All to bring down Dad, wrecking his own body along the way. He's basically me. I was also burning with rage up until that day. Dad can't do it. I have to be the one to handle my brother Toya. Yo, Todoroki versus Toya. We're gonna get that fight again. Endeavor doesn't have it in him to do it. I mean, especially when Toya revealed himself to Endeavor. Endeavor just stopped dead in his tracks and was frozen and was completely, pretty much useless for the rest of the events that went on when he revealed himself. So it's gonna be up to Todoroki now. I'll be in the streams more for sure. Rax, please, just whenever you feel like joining in, don't feel like you have to be here. Don't force yourself. Is Deku in a coma? I don't know. We haven't seen Midoriya yet. We have to see. But we got Natsu and Fuyumi.
Shoto!
Fuyumi and Natsu are here. Hello!
Oh, you must be Todoroki's big bro and sis. His throat's all burned, so he can't talk.
Wow, that's a lot more damage than I thought happened to Todoroki. He got his throat burned, so he can't even speak right now. Everything that we're reading from him is just his inner monologue. And then there's someone else behind Fuyumi, and Shoto looks. God, you're trying to die, man? They told you not to be up and about. Cram it, and the strain from all that yanking is gonna kill me even harder. So you don't care then? Huh? There's no stopping him. Bakugo is literally out of his bed, making his way towards where Midoriya is. And even Sado, who's like one of the biggest classmates of 1A, can't even hold him back, and Mineta is holding on to him as well. He's dead meat if he thinks he can die on me. Todoroki and the others are conscious at least, all of them except for Midoriya. He's shown no sign of waking up. Yo! Is Midoriya in a coma? Is Midoriya in a coma? His whole body is in a cast. His whole body, both legs, both arms, And he's even got like a little shoulder pads on him so that he can't. He's even got shoulder pads on him so he can't move his arms. But even so, his body is held up and is just covered in casts, and All Might is there just sitting next to his bed. Next chapter hits January 31st. Wow. Midoriya is down. And here's the thing. I knew we were going to be going through a recovery state. But and I knew a lot of heroes were going to be hurt really bad. But I didn't think it was going to be to the extent where Midoriya was in a coma and he hasn't woken up yet. His mom is going to be mad. Midoriya's mom already had a problem when Midoriya came back and his arm got broken a whole bunch and he had like a permanent scar go across his hand, and then the doctor said that if you put your body through this again, you'll likely lose the use of your arms. And it was during those events that Deku's mom was all like, I don't think I can trust you with my son. All the harm he's putting himself through, I just can't put my faith in UA in order to look after my son and train him properly and keep him safe. The thing that made Midoriya get into that state where he was hurt so bad, that has happened to a much grander degree. This man has put his body through more pain than any other fight thus far. I can only imagine what his mom is going to behave like when she sees her son, who beforehand was able to recover really quickly from the last fight that put him in a hospital. Now he is unconscious, not waking up, and every limb on his body is covered in thick casts. I can only imagine the hysterics his mom is going to go through if she sees her son like this. I mean, it's not like they're going to refuse her. They can't just say, like, no, you can't see your son today because it's her son. But Midoriya's mom cares about him so much. But if she sees him like this, I don't even know what she's going to think of UA after this. But let's not overshadow Midoriya being unconscious currently with the fact that All For One, in the beginning of this chapter, was just going through all other prisons, breaking out more people with quirks. And before then, we saw that Redestro broke into the Heroes Association and found out that they were, trying to watch them and everything. And that was... Hold on, let me go back to the beginning. This was during when the hospital raid was happening. When they all raided the hospital to get their hands on Daruma. Redestro broke into the Heroes Association building and he pretty much devastated the whole building. And saying that they don't seek they seek order without order, true freedom through liberation, because they want people to be able to use their quirks without being bound by laws that people have put into place. They want a world where people can use their quirks freely for whatever reason that they want and not be bound by any sort of rules or anything like that. The seeds have already been sown. So while the raid on the hospital, before the big battle with Shigaraki and him waking up happened, Redestro broke into the Heroes Association main building and pretty much wrecked the whole place while, monologuing as he does. Then it shows All For One breaking into Xi'an prison, Bagu prison, and Queen prison with his Haya Nobu, using someone with the biometrics to fly helicopters around there so that he can just basically break everyone out of these prisons. The single biggest prisons break that I've seen. Like, we have Tartarus, then you have numerous other prisons that are being shown, and he's just breaking everyone out of there. All For One is building his army. All the people that he had following him, back when he was known as Japan's biggest, most evil villain, the symbol of evil. He's building his army back up again. Right? Like during the same, like he's over 100 years old. So he's been doing this for he's been pretty much the symbol of evil for a very, very long time. But back then, when people were following him, he had like so many followers, and then he lost it all when he fought All Might. And then they both left scars on one another. He was left unable to regenerate his face, so now only thing that's left is literally just this. Everything that's up here is gone. He doesn't have his eyes, he doesn't have a nose, and he didn't get a regeneration quirk in time because his body healed over it, so he can't just regenerate all that stuff again. But then he had a final fight between him and All Might, and that's when he got put into Tartarus. And he lost even more, but he was just banking on Shigaraki. Then when Shigaraki woke up, even though his operation wasn't complete, it just caused a big, massive power shift between the heroes and the villains. We lost people on the hero side, we lost people on the villain side. And then when all was said and done, it wound up that All For One, by putting his quirk in Shigaraki, there's like his consciousness is in there. And it seems that his consciousness has some very high degree of control over Shigaraki, because frankly right now Shigaraki's consciousness is just taking a back seat while All For One is just piling at it. And I'm having major bad flashbacks of Wonder Woman 84 when it comes to another person's mind and another person's body, and then they're doing whatever they want with that body without the other person even knowing what's going on. I'm getting some bad flashbacks from that. But that's pretty much what All For One is doing with Shigaraki's body. And he's using the body to go forth and, break all these people out of prison. Then, when they all rest up, he's telling everyone to guard my body while the body rests. As saying that this body simply needs time to rest and be perfected, but once it is, our desires will come to fruition. And Spinner knows, and the thing is, I've been using the voice of All For One to speak through Shigaraki this whole time, because that's frankly what he's doing, but it's the voice of Shigaraki that's actually coming out. But Spinner knows something is wrong, because he says, "Who are you? You're not the guy I agreed to follow." So Shigaraki is talking, but it's All For One's words. So now Shigaraki has to rest, and All For One is making him rest so his body can be perfected. And then it is 2 days later, after All For One has broken all these people out. So who knows what he's been doing leading up to when Bakugo finally wakes up. And then Bakugo wakes up, he's wondering about Midoriya and Todoroki. We find out that Aizawa's laying up, but he's missing his leg. Gran Torino's on life support. And he's very hurt, but he's semi-conscious. You can see his eye kind of open just a little bit, thinking of Nana Shimura. And then it shows Todoroki, who has burns all over his body, and even his throat was burned, so he can't speak right now. Then it shows Endeavor, who's in surgery. It shows surgery in progress in one panel, and then it shows Endeavor laying down on the bed. So he's in surgery right now. And then it shows Todoroki thinking that, hey, my dad's not going to be able to do this when I have to be the one to take down Toya. So at some point, hey, Karma, at some point, we are going to be getting a Todoroki versus Toya fight. At some point. So that means either Todoroki's going to increase his power even more, or he's going to find the way to combat Toya's extremely hot flames, because even Todoroki acknowledged that, hey, I couldn't even fight his firepower with mine. His fire is stronger than Dad's, so I gotta be the one to handle my brother. Then it shows Natsu and Fuyumi coming into his hospital room, and then there's a shadow behind Fuyumi, who I'm guessing is Shoto's mom. Because his face lights up, and he's looking in that direction, and he says, huh? So I am saying that not only is Natsu and Fuyumi there, but also Shoto's mom there as well. Then it shows Bakugo trying to make his way to Midoriya's room, only to find out that Midoriya is in a coma. So, who knows what's going to happen? Am I finished? Oh yes, doing briefly going through all of the stuff that we've encountered throughout this chapter. It's a good chapter, but it makes me wonder, where are we going to go from here? Because pretty much anyone who can stand up against to All for One or can actually consistently fight, most of them are pretty much incapacitated right now. Especially Midoriya right now. He's in a coma. He's the only person who has not woken up since he's been at the hospital, and it's been 2 days later since all the stuff that's been happening. So either one thing's going to happen in the next chapter. Either we see what other heroes are doing, whether they're trying to, help out through the city, or since Midoriya is in a coma, maybe we'll have a moment where he gets to actually talk to the previous users of One for All. Because sometimes when he's in like a deep state of unconsciousness, like that one time when he slept and then he woke up and then there was numerous cracks and broken stuff around his room and he didn't find out why, maybe this could be his chance to actually understand what One for All really is by speaking to the previous users of One for All in his subconscious. And I honestly feel like for him to come out of it, it has to be with the help of the previous One for All users. That's how I feel. Because there's no other better time, even though this is kind of messed up when I say that, I kind of want to say that Midoriya being in a coma may actually help him. Because now, with him being stuck in his subconscious, he may be able to speak to the previous users, learn more about One for All, learn more about the different quirks that he has within him, maybe even talk to All for One's brother, the first user of One for All, and, get a grasp on his powers and understand, like, what's really going on, and, like, what more to expect from his power as he moves towards, being the world's #1 hero and everything. You know the story. So I honestly feel we're either in the next chapter, we're going to get a moment where we're seeing the heroes trying to clean up everything and help people out, or the next chapter is going to be Midoriya having to navigate his subconscious in order to wake up. That's how I feel. That's what I feel the next chapters are going to be. But that's all I got concerning this chapter. I give it an 8 out of 10. It wasn't just covered in, like all supremely amazing moments. This is a setup chapter. You guys know how this is. We get like a little bit of fluff before we see something big, major happen. But the biggest thing to take away is the fact that Midoriya is completely unconscious and has not woken up yet. And he has not shown any signs of waking up. So we're gonna have to wait until next week to find out what's going on with Midoriya, because we're not going on break. All in all, I did enjoy this chapter, but it just makes me think of so many theories. Is Midoriya gonna learn more about One for All if he goes into a subconscious and tries to get out and tries to wake up? Only time will tell. But I am looking forward to the next chapter of My Hero Academia. And that is also going to be January 31st. So I'm going to be doing my One Piece reflections and One Piece reactions separately. I'm not going to do it in one singular stream. I mean, I could, but the title would be kind of long. I don't know. I'll figure it out. If I can do it in one singular stream. No, I'll do it in two separate streams. So I'll do it that way. But we got another One Piece chapter coming out next week. We got a new chapter. This chapter was normal, nothing crazy. Yes, this was a pretty normal chapter. Considering all the previous chapters that we've gotten up to this point, this one is really, really tame. Despite the fact that All for One is breaking into more prisons and Midoriya isn't waking up, this was a pretty tame chapter thus far. So I got no complaints with it. But overall, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. But concerning my streams for this upcoming next Sunday on the 31st, I'm going to be doing One Piece and then my One Piece reflections. Then I'll do my One Piece reflections later, because I want to get the chapters read through, and then I'll do One Piece reflections later. And then, usual fluff that I tend to do on Sundays as well. I got a new episode of One Piece I'm going to be doing today, so I got to get to that once I'm done here, then get that recorded. Then there's family time, because my family wants to watch Wonder Woman 84. I already seen it, but I have not told him that I don't like the movie. But I would hate to impede on family time, so I'm gonna watch it again because now that I know that there's so much wrong with it, I can now look for other things that are wrong with the movie itself. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. Watching Wonder Woman 84 again. Look at my face. I'm ecstatic. But overall, I did enjoy this chapter. It was a pretty tame chapter. There's just a lot going on right now that could lead to so many theories considering the next one. I'm monologuing again. I need to stop. Please apologize. I apologize. So let me go ahead and end it here. You have a busy calendar. Yes, I do. I really do. But it's a busy calendar of stuff that I absolutely love to do, so you don't need to worry about it feeling like too much on me because I love to do this. So I'm going to bring this to a close today. So with that being said, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you happen to be a new person here and you've enjoyed what you saw here today, then consider subscribing because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples.